Alright, today I want to talk about something that was quite interesting that actually showed up on a Wall Street Journal article. Okay, ChatGPT. Okay, and of course, if you don't know what is ChatGPT, honestly, are you living on a rock? Because ChatGPT actually went up to about 1 million users in about like 7 days. And if you actually compare it to like Instagram, to like Facebook, to all the other social media platforms, they took about like months, some even years to even hit 1 million users. ChatGPT did that in a week. Okay, so ChatGPT is this new AI machine learning thingamajig that actually gives you a lot of text feedback. Okay, if you're not sure about it, just Google it, go and try it out. It's pretty interesting. People are just study hacking the hell out of ChatGPT. Okay, but today, if you're asking why am I actually making a video about ChatGPT, because I'm a finance channel, why would I care about ChatGPT? Okay, but today we need to talk about this because the creator, which is OpenAI, they're actually talking to investors about selling shares at a $29 billion valuation. Okay, so the first thing that actually came to mind when I saw this whole entire thing was, if ChatGPT goes public, does this actually affect any of my current portfolio market share? Okay, so why this is important? For example, if you were an investor in Yahoo back in, let's say, 01 or 02, when you're an investor in Yahoo, okay, and then Google came out, and then you thought that, hey, Google is pretty good. Google actually does a pretty good job at being a search engine. When that actually happened, you should know for a fact that you should get the hell out of Yahoo. Why? Because Google is clearly a better player. Okay, so this is kind of reminiscent to what is going to be happening again. Okay, ChatGPT. So I talked to some of my friends as well. And so my friends, asking them, okay, because some of my friends are actually in the tech industry, and then I was kind of asking them, what do you think about ChatGPT? Do you think it actually screws over any other companies that is currently existing and publicly listed in the Nasdaq or in the Dow Jones and such? Do you think that they are actually getting screwed over by ChatGPT? And I think some of their opinions actually do make sense, which is ChatGPT kind of just stands in their own industry on its own. Okay, a lot of them do think that OpenAI is not exactly tapping into any sort of industry as of now. They're just in the OpenAI itself. They are in the AI sphere. Okay. My concern for ChatGPT was that ChatGPT might actually be taking over Google. That was my first concern. Because if ChatGPT take over Google, I gotta get the hell out of Alphabet, I have quite a substantial holding in Alphabet, so that was like my first concern. And of course, after seeing such a article saying that they're going to be selling shares at a $29 billion valuation, you would expect them to definitely be going upwards in the future. Okay, because right now ChatGPT, they are basically just this machine learning AI that's still at a very, very small scale. It's whatever input that you're going to put in, they're only going to give you text output. Okay, it's not as if they're actually giving you an output in terms of pictures, motion pictures, video concept, things like that. They're not doing it to that extent. They're just giving you in text form. Okay, so if you're using ChatGPT, you can just ask them, can you generate an idea for a video about ChatGPT, for example, and they can give you like 5 different variations of idea for a video around ChatGPT. They might tell you what ChatGPT actually does, what ChatGPT is doing very well in, and yada yada yada. Okay. I'm not saying I actually did that, okay? I just thought that ChatGPT was kind of interesting. I've actually used it to try to generate some articles in Korean. So I was like thinking, hey, that's pretty good, because I'm actually trying to read more Korean articles. And when I was reading Korean articles, I kind of want to mix Korean articles with finance content that I'm always creating and consuming at the same time. So I wanted to use ChatGPT to see if they're able to do so in Korean. They were able to do it, so pretty interesting. Okay, but over here, let's go through the article a little bit so that we can kind of understand what's going on. OpenAI, the research lab behind the viral chatbot ChatGPT, is in talks to sell existing share in a tender offer that would value the company at around $29 billion. That's with the B. Okay, making it one of the most valuable US startup on paper despite generating little revenue. Okay, so I think we need to talk about this a little bit more, which is how can ChatGPT actually generate profits? Right now, okay, I think that the chances of ChatGPT going public in the next year or so pretty slim. Okay, but if they were to do so, what would actually make me want to invest into ChatGPT is definitely going to be the revenue model, okay? ChatGPT doesn't really have a revenue model, which is why I would most likely stay away from it. I think ChatGPT in a growth sense, because this is a machine learning thing, okay? We are talking about long term. We're not talking about earning money now. We're not even talking about earning money in the next 5 years. We're talking about it being so huge to the point where it's going to gobble up all the different industry, and it's going to be its own thing. Then you might think, oh, okay, you know what, I should have invested in ChatGPT, that sort of thing. So I do think that, in terms of revenue-wise, ChatGPT is not going to be, okay, if you're interested in the next 5-10 years, I think ChatGPT is going to be quite bad as an investment. But of course, people who are investing in ChatGPT, let's be honest, there are people who are looking at long-term. People are putting in corporate funds. People are putting in VC funds into this. I don't think that this is going to be a short-term return sort of thing. And even then, they're probably going through their second or third round angel rounds. So normal investors like you and I probably not going to get a chance for us to actually get in on this action either. Okay, over here, let's go through a little bit more. In talks to buy the share, the tender could total at least $300 million in OpenAI share sales. The deal is structured as a tender offer. Okay, so investors buying shares from existing shareholders such as employees only. Okay, so for people who don't know how this actually would work out, it's just that like they're not going to be creating new shares, they're not going to be creating new common A, Bs, and Cs. It's going to just be whatever that we already have. For example, they started off by having 7 billion shares, for example, and each share is like worth $1. And then right now they kind of bring it up for the valuation up to $29 billion, and in that existing 7 billion shares, for example, some of them are from the VP of the company, some of them are from the COO of the company, things like that, and then they are just bringing it out as a tender offer to say we are going to be selling some of these shares. All of them are going to be totaling up to about $300 million. Okay, so you're not going to be getting a substantial amount into the company itself, but you're still getting a valuation of a $29 billion company. A huge startup, if you ask me. Okay. The new deal would roughly double OpenAI's valuation from a prior tender offer completed in 2021, valued at $14 billion, generated tens of millions of dollars in revenue in parts from selling its AI software to developers, but some investors have expressed skepticism that the company can generate meaningful revenue from the technology. This is where my concern actually floods in. Okay, I don't think OpenAI can earn a lot of money. Okay, tens of millions of dollars in revenue. Let's be honest here, it's not that much in the big picture of things. Okay, you are going to be valued at $29 billion. Okay, and you only earn tens of millions of dollars. That's a little bit sketch. Okay, and of course they're actually earning their money from selling their AI software to developers, which I think is not going to be a very scalable thing, because ultimately there's only a limited amount of developers that is willing to buy your AI software, and chances are a lot of other people are going to start creating their own AI software to be selling. So market demand wise, I think supply and demand is not exactly going to be keeping up, and supply could end up flooding the whole entire market. Okay, so investors express skepticism that the company can generate meaningful revenue from the technology, which is also, that's kind of like my concern as well. Okay, no final deal has been reached, and term could change. Released a series of artificial intelligence based products last year that captured the public's attention, including the image generation program DALL-E 2 and chatbot ChatGPT. If the tender goes through with the valuation, OpenAI could be one of the few startups able to raise money at higher valuations in the private market, where investors have pulled back from new deals given last year's technology rout. So we have to talk about last year's technology. I think last year's technology was complete horrible shit. Okay, the technology from last year was horrible. None of the big companies are actually doing a lot of R&D. Okay, a lot of them are just basically just keeping it as it is. But I think at the end of the thing, you would think that it's kind of expected, okay? Especially after coming out from a pandemic. People are fighting jobs, people are fighting demand for the dollar, people are fighting money, people are fighting the Feds. Okay, people are not thinking about, oh, you know what, I'm going to innovate a new thing in this year. I don't think that's going to be happening. Okay, so I kind of do understand to a certain extent, which is why having ChatGPT coming out from 2022 effectively was actually quite surprising. Okay, I was expecting no one to do any sort of innovation work, to be fair. But yeah, you know, since that were to be the case, that happened to be one of the bigger private market valuation that actually came out. So I thought that was very, very interesting. Okay, Microsoft has been also in advanced talk to increase its investment in OpenAI. Okay, invested $1 billion in OpenAI and become its preferred partner for commercializing new technologies for services like search engine Bing and design app micro design. So yeah, I thought that this was quite cool. Okay, this was also one of the triggering point of why I actually wanted to make this video. Okay, because I am currently not exactly in Microsoft as of now. But for example, if I do want to have a little bit of that market share in OpenAI, I can invest into Microsoft. Okay, so I'm just still kind of in the midst of thinking about what should I actually do about this. Just a little bit of an FYI, today is the 9th of January. I'm not sure when you're going to be watching this video, because chances are when you're watching this video, I'm probably already in Jeju, South Korea, enjoying my vacation with my family. So I might or might not have already been into Microsoft. I'm not very sure. Okay, so I'll tell you. I'll do up a video when I actually get into Microsoft. I don't know. Okay, probably in the AJEF portfolio dive. Okay, so I thought that this was really interesting. I was thinking that, you know, because recently I've been putting a lot of my money into Apple and Alphabet. A lot of my money actually, it's like consisting of about 60% of my entire portfolio is in Apple and Google at the moment. Okay, and now I'm thinking that, you know, should I actually make that all the way to 70% and actually take out some money from Apple and put it over into Microsoft as well, because I thought that ChatGPT might actually be this game-changing software that might hit the market. But of course, at the same time, it could also be the clubhouse of social media, where it actually creates such a huge hype and suddenly just die off because everyone copied Clubhouse to the end. Okay, you start seeing Twitter Spaces, you see everyone just copying this non-proprietary program, and it just became a completely dead app at the end of it. Okay, so I thought that was very, very interesting, how Clubhouse actually went to have a huge hype and a huge low and things like that. Okay, so I'm kind of interested to see how ChatGPT is going to be turning out to be. But yeah, anyway, let me just turn this off. Oops. And there you go. Yeah, so yeah, anyway, that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And yeah, you know, please subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.